Yeah, I do think that it's a point very well worth making on the United Nations Day against the violence against women, that only a fraction, and we discussed it here last week, of the budget given out by the Justice Minister to support organisations who support women suffering from violence is what the overall budget is that goes to greyhound racing. It really says a lot about our society that we think more of this cruel industry than we do of protecting women who are very, very vulnerable. And basically, I was reading the Minister's statement, and it strikes me here that he's basically making a Keynesian argument to justify the funding, that it returns more to the Exchequer than it costs by stimulating economic activity in different areas. Now, he'd need to spell out exactly what he means. My father was an avid greyhound racing fan, and I remember as a child going to Harold's Cross with him, and what I could see the most economic activity was at the toll booth where people were putting on bets. If that's what he's referring to, then he needs to spell it out. But even in a classical Keynesian argument, the 1 billion spent since the year 2000 that the Minister talks about could have been spent on more worthwhile projects, indeed projects that would have benefited the people of rural Ireland in a real way. Say, for example, the Western Railway corridor. If they're that worried about rural Ireland, surely they could think of doing it in a more sustainable way. They could spend it on renewable projects, on public housing, on public land. That would definitely stimulate the economy without inflicting the unbelievable cruelty that other deputies have talked about that emanates from this industry. I just want to quote from the Greyhound Action Ireland. The spokesperson, Nuala Donlan, said, and I want to fully endorse her and quote her here on the record of the Dáil, that instead of ending the funding, they have sanctioned an increase of 2.4 million, ensuring the widespread abuse and killing of unwanted dogs in this industry and ensuring that that will continue. And she says, it is hugely regrettable that the Green Party has now become complicit in propping up an activity that inflicts such suffering and death on the beautiful, gentle greyhound. And they are very, very critical of Senator Pippa Hackett in particular. I think that's worth saying. And also another partner in government, Fianna Fáil, Shane Castles, at the Public Accounts Committee, when Bord na Gan were in front of it, was quoted as saying that it is galling and sticks in the craw that this much public money goes to this industry. More people, he said, are on the home help waiting lists than attend dog racing in his constituency, and that's an important point. The issues that really affect our society are being ignored for the benefit of a tiny few who gain from this industry. I think the point that was made by Fianna Fáil and the opposition shown in the past by the Greens should be highlighted, because they are now being utterly hypocritical as we will see how they vote in relation to this bill. I want to thank the Social Democrats for putting it, and I do take the point that was made about the horse racing industry. More is spent on both of them on the basis that they stimulate the economy. And we believe that there are far better ways to stimulate the economy than inflicting gross cruelty on innocent animals. And we know that this is obviously going to hurt some people who are passionate about greyhound racing, but the point about it is that we have to get our priorities right, and we fully endorse this motion.